You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. This LSU team is one of the biggest, strongest arguments for an expanded playoff. Because this team just beat a top 10 team by 25. A team that was ranked in the top 10 by 25. What if LSU runs the table? I don't know that it's likely. I wouldn't predict it. I think LSU is going to lose to Bama in 2 weeks. I'm not trying to be a killjoy, but Bama's going to be a heavy favorite and should win that game. But what if LSU does win it and wins out? And you have a 10-2 LSU team that goes to the SEC championship game. What do they win that? A 2-loss team has never made the college football playoff. Would you keep a 2-loss SEC champion LSU out that beat undefeated Ole Miss, that would have beaten Alabama, and would have beaten either Tennessee or Georgia in the SEC championship game? Could you really justify keeping that team out of the playoff? Look, they did it to Penn State a few years back in the Big Ten. Penn State beat Ohio State, won the Big Ten, but had 2 losses, so they kept them out. Ohio State got in the playoff. The Big Ten champion Penn State, who beat Ohio State, did not get in, but Ohio State did. I mean, who knows what that committee does whenever they sit in a room, and they can do whatever they want. But, I mean, I think, so ESPN had an interesting piece. It was basically running through the contenders with their playoff predictor, and who are the actual contenders with their percent chance of making the playoffs. And they went conference by conference. And right now, this is how the percentage breakdown goes for odds of making the playoffs among the top contenders. Okay, you ready? You don't have to memorize the numbers. Just kind of let it marinate for what it means. Right now, Muse, you want to guess team that has the best percent odds of making the playoff?
Georgia Bulldogs.
No. Not even close, actually.
Really? Okay. The Ohio State Buckeyes.
It is the Ohio State Buckeyes at 81.6%.
Solid.
They're basically saying, beat Michigan and you're in, which I think they will. Okay. Number 2
Georgia
is the Georgia Bulldogs at 66.9%.
That's a big gap.
Big gap.
That is a big gap.
Because
Tennessee,
you got to play Tennessee
SEC championship.
and then an SEC championship game. There's a chance that they lose once or twice. So I get it. After Georgia,
I feel like it's an SEC team, but I feel like it's probably Alabama.
Clemson.
Okay, that makes sense.
Honestly, I'm surprised Clemson isn't higher.
Yeah.
The only game they got to get past is a road game to Notre Dame.
And they got to bye this week before that.
So but Clemson's at 61%, then Bama at 53%, then Tennessee at 51%. After those 5, remember, Tennessee at 51%. After those 5, the next highest odds to make the playoff.
One lost Pac-12 team. I mean, is it Oregon?
USC.
Okay, one lost Pac-12 team.
9%. So basically, you got these 5. It's going to be 4 of these 5. Is basically what they're telling you. How this is all going to shape out. LSU doesn't even have odds on the list. So, but if you wanted a path for LSU, this is your path, right? LSU wins out, which means you would beat Bama, and you want either Georgia or Tennessee to be unbeaten in the SEC championship game. If you get Bama and an unbeaten Georgia or Tennessee, that would be as good a resume builder as LSU could possibly have. You'd want Ohio State and Clemson to go undefeated, right? So they would emphatically be your numbers 1 and 2. Ohio State, Clemson would be 1 and 2, and then it's okay. Everybody else has a loss. Now, how do you sift through it? And you hope, based on the strength of the record, that a 2-loss LSU would be in there with another SEC team. But the tricky part is which SEC team. That's the really tricky part. Because Bama would be out, so it would be either Georgia or Tennessee. So do you take the loser of the SEC championship game, which would have beaten that team in the regular season, or you take the loser of the regular season matchup and put him in, who didn't play in the SEC championship game, which we've seen. Bama. I don't know. It's not an easy thing to decipher here. And there's a lot of boxes that still need to be checked between now and then. But the other thing you would really want that would clear this up is if you had a 2-loss Pac-12 and a 2-loss Big 12 champion. Because right now, TCU is the only remaining undefeated Big 12 team, but it's hard to imagine any team from the Big 12 getting in that's not undefeated. But a 2-loss Pac-12 and 2-loss Big 12 champ would effectively eliminate them. And it would come down to the 2 unbeatens, a 2-loss SEC champ LSU, and then whoever else the at-large would be. But that's really LSU's only path. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.